Please welcome to GMG Plus for the first time, radio and TV personality and a force of nature, a woman. Please welcome Anita Erskine. Good morning, Anita.
Good morning, King. How are you?
I'm great. You look so wonderful.
By God's grace,
my dear. Are you actually 41?
I'm 40.
Wow.
Do not accelerate.
Wow.
Slow your roll.
But 40 still looks really amazing.
I 40 in December, so let me enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy the 40s. It's really amazing. Something
Thank
that
you.
intrigued me when I was reading up on you. You're born in Jerusalem?
Yes, thanks to my wonderful
Jerusalem.
parents who probably had an ambition to make me maybe a Roman Catholic nun or something like that, but no, my dad was working in the Middle East and my mom was visiting, so I just happened to say, hey, I want to be like Jesus. They had me in Jerusalem.
But did you stay long enough to have any memories?
Oh, I don't have any memories. I mean, I'm sure my older siblings do. I mean, we went to visit, you know, once in a while, but I don't remember it at all. So
Jerusalem baby, that's all that counts, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, touch me, feel the Holy Spirit. Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Every time I see you on TV and everything you do, you come out so forceful. You move like a bullet. Where's that drive?
Honestly,
where does it come from?
King, because it's all I have. You know, me working in the space in which you've mentioned, it's really and truly all I have. So my thing is, give it all. I mean, every single time you have an opportunity to sit in front of the camera with somebody on camera, if this is what you really did dedicate your life to, then let it be the best and touch everybody's life every single time they watch you, even though they're watching you from home. So that's where it comes from. That's where the drive comes from.
It's really overpowering, let me be honest.
Well, I hope that means it's
like,
a good thing.
It's a good thing. But let's talk about that voice for a minute. You found your singing voice at 9?
I found my singing voice at 9 in
and
church.
then you found another voice at 13.
Yes, so by 13, I knew that the voice is what I wanted to work on. I thought it was going to be music, but I wasn't as disciplined. You know, you've really got to be disciplined with music. But when I talk about discipline, it's not in terms of scheduling, etc. No, I was too young to know what that is. But in terms of following up, in terms of being creative. But I found that whenever I did write poems, and I did read poems, or I did write just stories, that I was a lot more creative. So I guess kind of working with my own space allowed me then to veer off in that direction, as opposed to the musical direction. Okay,
but what point did you realize that my voice is bigger than music? It's going to be this powerful, forceful voice in the future? Was there a bridge?
Yeah, one day I was not supposed to be on air. Somebody was sick and I was only supposed to play CDs for them.
Oh, yeah?
Let me see if I talk somebody will hear. You know, and, you know, saying a few things and then looking at the door to make sure the producer doesn't open the door.
Yeah.
He didn't. And I tried it again the next time. He didn't. So, you know, this was at Groove FM, you know, back then. And then I realized, oh, and people, in those days, people used to call in a lot and you know, request songs. So every single time they would hear my voice, you know, and then the encouragement I received. I was really young. I was just about 17. But I did get that encouragement for, oh, you have a really nice voice. Oh, your voice is nice. And then, at the time, there were also people in the industry who were happy to guide me. You know, quite a lot of men, not a lot of women. But, you know, and so I just played around with it. And before I knew, I was using my voice for what everybody knows that I use it for now.
From the early 2000s till right now, how would you describe your journey in the media space?
My journey has been very difficult, extremely difficult. You know, when you don't have, I mean, today you have a plethora of conferences and seminars, and you've got mentorship being a conversation. Yeah. But then at the time, you really didn't have anyone say, listen, do it like this and do it like, honestly, you didn't. So everything you did was trial and error. And that's why I also say to a lot of colleagues, my colleagues who started back, you know, in the late 90s or even in the earlier 90s, a lot of mistakes that we were making. We didn't even know that you could commercialize this. You could make this, you could make a living out of this, you know. So you tried this a little bit, you had a little bit of fun, you stopped it, you moved on. So it's been a very challenging journey. Plus the ability for people to just have confidence in you. You don't get it all the time. You know, so they will say you sound good, but they won't encourage you to be the best you can. And so for me, it took me so long to realize, listen, I'm so good at this, and I shouldn't, for any reason, fall back. I need to just forge ahead. And it's a lonely road when nobody's really holding you. I mean, my parents are wonderful, and they just kept saying, you know, keep going, keep going. But there's nothing, you know, better than that, or there's nothing better than somebody in the space saying, hey, you know what, you can do this. It's been very, very difficult. It was a very difficult journey.
But here you are, a winner.
By God's grace.
And a champion.
Only by God's grace. I can't take, you know, I can't take credit for it, honestly.
Okay, amen to that.
Amen.
With all the things you juggle, being a champion for women,
right,
mentoring people,
right,
being on TV and radio, and writing, all of that. Which of those is your real love and your first love?
You know, the art of reinvention allows you to find many first loves.
That's
you know
interesting.
What I mean? So at a point in time in your life, you'll say, oh, it's my radio. At a point in time, it's TV. For me now, the Anita you see, it is being a spokesperson for social impact, social issues that need to come to the fore so that you and I can live better lives and we can give our children better lives. And I've also discovered that you don't have to be straitjacket using your voice for radio and television. The art of reinvention has also taught me that you can use your power and your prowess for other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you identify that this is what I really know how to do, every time you get an opportunity and you want to shake things up a little bit, you can use that thing that you really do know how to do and apply it to your next love. So I'm sorry, I don't have one particular love.
You have
I have many
loves.
And my love at this point in time, specifically when you come to talk to, you know, the Sustainable Development Goals and looking at what, yes, the SDGs, and looking at what the world needs to do, and looking at who I've become, and looking at how people do listen to me when I speak. Oh, you said it so well, and I'm very grateful to you for saying that. You know, if you feel that my presence is that empowering, just tapping into what I have to say just a little bit so you can just become just as or even more empowering. That has become my current love. I die for it. Live for it.
You're passionate.
Passionate.
You die for it.
Yes.
What would you describe as, I mean, out of all the places you've worked and other things you've done, which has been your most fulfilling experience? My
most fulfilling was the most challenging. And, pardon me, that would be when I worked at Originate Saatchi & Saatchi in an advertising agency. In that space, you've got a pool of clients, and every minute a client wants something different. It challenges you because you can't give MTN the same thing that you are giving Nestle, nor can you give Nestle the same thing you're giving to Guinness. So you have to think on your feet. It's the most impactful in my life because from there I realized that you have to learn the art of versatility. Regardless of which industry in which you work, so that for everything that you touch, you bring a new life to it, new creativity and new freshness, and then it never gets old and you never get bored.
Amazing. I'm sitting here wondering, who are your role models?
I have to start off with my parents. I mean, for two people who grew up with so little, and being able to give their children so much that their main focus and ambition is that we, their children, become better than them. They are my role models for life. You know, many times when somebody says role model, you're always looking at somebody who's been successful in your field and somebody who's collected all these awards. My parents have collected my lifetime awards. I mean, honestly.
Lifetime achievement.
Lifetime achievement awards. I give it to you, mommy and daddy. And it doesn't go beyond that. Everybody else I come into contact with will add a little bit of spice, but my parents haven't given me that firm foundation, discipline, work ethic, transparency, honesty, decency, and personal value. I look up to them so much, from the religious to the professional to everything else. This is it for me. I mean, they are my pillars. I don't look any further than that.
What made you want to become a champion for women so badly?
The difficulties I faced personally. I mean, I remember when I fell pregnant with my daughter, and at the time, I had a flourishing career. My career had just
I remember those days.
started.
You showed up on a TV.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, the whole world. I was working for DSTV Studio 53. The backlash. I mean, seeing a pregnant woman on television, and my producer on DSTV, Lisa, was fantastic. I said, Lisa, you want me to take time off? She's like, no, I mean, pregnancy is not a disease. It's not like you've got a disease, so keep it moving. But the backlash, and what is she doing? And why? And the fact that so many people were making decisions for me, a lot of people in different spaces say, oh, you can't do. When I'm carrying a child, I can do. When I got out of that, with all the support I received, you know, especially at home, I'm a wonderful husband. When I got out of that, it occurred to me that, listen, Anita, if you have faced this, and then I wonder what other women must be facing, because this is probably not even the worst. That's when I decided that, you know, and I said it to you, reinvention. Do something that means something.
You need to reinvent yourself.
And when you reinvent yourself in that direction, do something that means something to somebody. It's not always about you, and it's not about how great you are. It's not about how much, you know, you're making or where you're going or the kinds of doors you're walking. No, it's about the number of people who can say, you know what, I thought I was the only person who went through this, but because I, being that person, can't speak about it, you spoke for me, Anita, and that is what made me decide. That's when I decided to be an advocate for women.
In your line of duty, your line of work, have you experienced any form of sexual harassment?
Oh, of course. Absolutely, of course. You know, the connection between how I've reacted to sexual harassment and how I've gotten away from it and ran away from it is my parents.
Okay.
When you start to show people that I'm here to work and I'm here to give my best, and you want to force me to do something that is against my values in order for me to go through that door that I know will take me to the next level, I will find a clever way of eliminating you. I may not be as strong as you, but you are not as strong as my mind. When people really start overpowering you, you know, sometimes verbally or sometimes physically, you need to take 2 steps back. And you don't do it alone. I got a lot of help. I got to my sisters and said, Charlie, have you ever faced this? Ah, please. Charlie, catch and on, baby. You know, that sort of thing. So today, when I also meet so many young women who say, you know what, this person says, if I don't do this, I won't get a job. Of course, I can't walk with you to your office because then sometimes it might create situations. But I will sit down with you and I will talk you through my personal experiences. And that empowers you.
Especially in the media when it is seen as young women, especially the beautiful ones are also...
They're all beautiful, by the way.
Using...
you said they're beautiful ones. Correct your sentence. They are all beautiful.
You are all beautiful.
Thank you. King, I got you.
I'm not about to start a war with all female radio and TV personalities.
No. All female radio and TV personalities are beautiful. Don't say just the beautiful ones.
I mean, in the space of media where all the women are beautiful and are seen as sometimes using their body to attain higher heights. What is your advice to a younger girl who is looking at these people and say, oh, this girl, she blowing 1 year, I can do it too?
People do things because of their background.
Okay.
I always say, I never judge.
Okay.
People go through certain situations that make them make decisions that they didn't even realize they're making. So I say to young girls, if you ever see somebody, it could be Anita today, it could be Deborah tomorrow, always find out what is it in the background that makes them make the decisions they make. Judgment is the worst way to deal with young women who say, well, somebody blew in a year. And by the way, what you see as somebody blowing in a year is actually they coming from a very far away place. Today, social media makes you think that, oh, people got this today, and no, it isn't. And I know a lot of women in the space of media that I'm so proud of, because where they started from and how they started, perhaps I couldn't even survive if I was in their same situation. So I say to young women, don't assume that just because you've seen them out of the blue that they just made it. 1. 2, don't assume that what works for them will work for you. And 3, ask questions.
Are you a feminist?
I am a feminist. I am a feminist. What is your definition of a feminist?
I don't have a definition.
Okay.
I was about to ask you. Even for me, the lines are blurred and the water is murky when it comes to feminism.
Exactly.
There are different school of thoughts.
Exactly.
For instance, I go on Twitter and I feel that this girl who says she's a feminist is just probably angry, and there's another girl who is just probably speaking out because she doesn't have a man, or there's another who actually has a man, is doing well and still a feminist.
A lot of people's perception of feminism that it's one big thing. And once it hovers over your head, oh, it means you hate men or you are anti.
I'm here for the education. No. Teach me.
Feminism is your personal definition of what you believe as a person it takes to make sure that women are given the necessary respect, platform, opportunities that help them as individual or collectively be a better version of themselves. Because we all have to make our contribution to this world. So the fact that I fight for women and gender equality isn't because I have anything negative or anything that, you know, anything that I feel negatively towards any man. Do I feel negatively towards rapists? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do I really want the police to start looking into defilement of little girls? Absolutely. Does that make me an angry feminist? Yes, it does. But that doesn't define whether I'm feminist or not. It makes me an angry feminist. But that I'm a feminist means anywhere and anywhere that I have to use my voice, my ability, my education, my personality to stand up for the betterment of women, I will be there. And so for me, you know, and you said it so well, it can be, you know, the lines are murky, etc. Know that everybody fights for something different. I look at what I fight for, and I classify it as being a feminist who fights for girls' education. So that girls are being married off at 12 years old, 9 years old, and I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I can't sit back and observe. I am very proudly a feminist who will go out there and fight against a girl being married early as opposed to she being given an education.
Okay. Does every woman need a man?
Does every woman need food? King. Does every woman need water? Does every human being need companionship? I think every woman needs whatever she needs at the point in her life that completes her.
And that includes a man sometimes?
It's up to her. We need to stop judging human beings. Does every man need a woman? I would say the same thing to you. You know what I mean? So I think that the world is getting to a place where, because women are becoming bold and outspoken, we are all trying to find ways to categorize them, which is unfair. Whatever a woman needs at any given point in time in her life that she feels personally completes her is what she needs. If it's a man, fine. If it's a job, fine. If it's beautiful children that she can call her own, then fine. But judgment starts when you start saying that, hey, you cry, you need a man. It is the worst form of insult you can give to a woman.
Do you have the sense, feeling that there's enough encouragement for women to do things?
Beautiful question. I look at how broadly, widely, beautifully we celebrated International Women's Day on Friday, March 8th.
I did too. I did big
You did?
time,
Oh, give me a high five. You're a feminist, baby. No, and listen, the journey ahead of us is so long, the road is so narrow, very bumpy. But I would be hypocritical if I said, oh no, you know, women are not being empowered. I think that we are doing something. Perhaps not our best, because, you know, you need resources, you need constituencies, you know, you need people to listen to you, you need doors to open. I'm proud of the effort, and I'm excited about the potential and where we're going.
As a champion for women, who have been doing it for a long time, what is the next important or pertinent issue to address when it comes to women?
For me, today as we speak, is education for girls. Absolutely. Our girls aren't going to be competitive women or competitive human beings without education. That's what it is for me right now.
You're quoted as telling CNN that you're a multitude of dreams in one person.
Yes.
What is your biggest dream?
My biggest dream is to be president. No, I'm just joking.
We would love that.
Anita Erskine, everybody.
Tell you what, we would love that, though.
Oh, you are saying that now. You get it.
No, I would.
Okay, I could see that. No. But it used to be my biggest dream. But no, my biggest dream, very difficult to say what it is, but I'll tell you what it feels like. It feels like a global opportunity to tap into what the world is talking about and what the world is doing for women and for girls. It might change in 5 years, I don't know. But today, my biggest dream is to occupy that global seat, whatever that seat is. Could be on television, could be radio, could be the United Nations. But it has to be a position, an opportunity that changes mindsets and that changes or that opens doors and increases opportunities for girls to get more education and women to get more empowered, whether it's in entrepreneurship or whether it's empowerment for their own personal selves and their betterment.
A teeny tiny interest in politics, maybe?
I love politics. I love politics.
Are you going to run
Do
for
I
your local constituency?
No, I'm not. I don't think that is the kind of thing that you just get up and do. It's a kind of thing that you need to observe, understand, and it's a culture you need to adopt before you do. So the politics of it all, the politics of the politics, is to be a learned and educated contributor to the space. I don't think I'm that learned yet, but I'll get there. When I'm looking for a vice president, you know you got it.
I can come through for you. I can
I'll come for you, King.
I can come through for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell you what, though, our country would appreciate a gorgeous president. We could take that. Thank you so much, Anita Erskine.
Let me sign your give you an autograph just in case.
Before you become president.
How many years are you giving me to be president? 8. No, 8 is too soon. I have to pay my dues. I haven't paid my dues to the nation yet.
Let's make it 10.
No, let's make it. I'm 40 now, so give me till I'm 54.
14. We can work with that. 14 years.
Yeah. What are you going to do to contribute?
Well, we'll talk later. Thanks for your autograph, by the way. Thank you, Anita Erskine.